Part 3 of 26 things I learned by 26. If someone is toxic, or if someone is an obvious poor performer, so this can be correlative to business and to life. If someone is not performing as a human being in the correct environment, so if you're in a friendship and they're not being a good friend, or if they're a staff member of yours and they're consistently not hitting KPIs, you need to let them go, not because they are costing you money and that's leaking the company, but it's actually because A players get turned off by them still working at your company. Your real friends are still confused to why you're associated with this obviously not good person. And this is something that I've had to improve on because, well, interesting. This is something I got really good at, I think, by 24 years old. I think I got really good at being not cutthroat with friends in particular, and even bad hires to an extent. Because one, I had a smaller team when it came to my company, 20-ish K a month, 20, maybe 30K a month. You don't need a huge team to hit those revenue numbers. But I was really good with my friends, being able to cut people off. But what happened was, as I grew really fast this year, my ability to be patient increased, and I saw the benefits of patience as well this year. That's why I'm so excited to still be I'm gonna give this agency model at least 10 years so I can be a master, right? So patience has been good, but patience can also sometimes make you let someone that is not good for your company or as a friend stay within proximity, because you're giving them chances and you're I'll give them a couple months, they'll catch on. So that's something I'm even working on, but getting better at it. And people that are of quality will recognize that incompetent character or incompetent skill set of that person, and they will associate you with that person. They'll think that that's your standard. So you got to be very careful with who and what you tolerate. And that's the same for in relationships. If you tolerate your partner cheating on you, well, that's what you tolerate. If they do it again, they'll apologize, keep going. If you tolerate disrespect from your staff, well, they're gonna think, oh, well, that my boss doesn't care. My boss is a pusher. Other people start to see that. One thing I can tell you from experience, you wanna manage a big staff of people, it's not that they should fear you, but they need to respect you. And not just respect you because you're the boss. They need to respect you because they know you're freaking competent. I don't even think this is a good thing, and this will eventually not be the case. As it stands, out of the 40-ish people in my company, I am still the best closer. And we have leaderboards. I'm number one. By the way, I hope they outcompete me so I can eventually bring that COO in March or April of 2026. I'm very excited. But they know I'm competent. Big client issue that no one solves. Unfortunately, it still ends up on my table. And we've got layers. We've got 6 account managers, nearly 7. We're onboarding the 7th at the end of October. But, respect. It has to make sense, and you got to take it, but you got to take it. Some people take things overtly. Overtly is aggressive, but oftentimes the best way to influence people is below the carpet, right? Indirectly influencing them. Which brings me to my next point. Being aggressive is good, but shout out to Patrick Bet-David, you need to learn how to think 15 steps ahead. When I was 21, 22, I was involved in a certain business with a very narcissistic business partner, and he ended up stealing certain intellectual property from me that I'd spent about $10,000 building up, and that was 50% or majority of my savings at 21 years old. Not a chunk enough where I was well, back to corporate, right? Maybe the majority was. And I couldn't do much. He was saying, I make more money than you, I'm gonna ruin your little business, yada, yada, yada. And he did. And he tried to jeopardize my credibility. And it partially did. I bounced back nonetheless. And truthfully, I'm at the stage now where I could probably completely acquire his whole company and he wouldn't even know it's me. I could do it through one of the alias companies in my group or one of the businesses in my group. But again, 26. He's probably in his early 30s now. Because when I was 21, 22, he was like 29, pushing 30. Just relax. Think 15 steps ahead. If you get your vengeance now, what good does that do for you in terms of being distracted? You know, maybe you want to hit $1 million a month. Maybe you want to hit 500 to $1 million a month, 500K to $1 million a month in 12 months. Does doing this because you can now benefit you? Really? Does it add much more to your life? Probably doesn't, right? So you got to be able to really think 15 steps ahead instead of being reactive. And that's really allowed me to control myself. And again, I think that's a result of just being really patient and realizing that something that even seems to be rushed doesn't, because the decision creates the momentum. If I make 12 good decisions a day, good ones, that's a really effective day. Instead of rushing to do 100 things half cup, right? The next thing, the ability to be still is one of the most powerful skills you can adopt. Being still and being able to just control your breath. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to really keep your IQ, because when you're stressed, I think your IQ decreases by like 50%. It allows you to keep your IQ, remain composed, and it also shows other people that you're dependable in high risk situations. I want on my team people that I don't feel like I have to like baby when things get stressful. Because life is hard. Business, let's even put business aside. Business is hard enough. Life is complicated. Life is hard. I don't want a person that's like, I'm so frantic. Like, bro, how are you? Are you good? Good to hear from you. What's going on? Talk to me. That's the kind of person I like on my team. That's the person I try to be for my staff, for my people. 40 staff company. Things go wrong every day. Oh, good. Let's fix it. Right? Always in a calm, relaxed tone. Oh, my friend just passed. Your friend just, Dami, did you hear he passed away? Yeah, I did. Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah. Doesn't mean you're not feeling emotions, but you are allowing yourself to make the next decision that creates momentum. Because if you can't be still and control your breathing and your pacing and the way you are, it can be very difficult to make a rational decision. And instead you make a rushed decision. The next thing I learned, which is a bit controversial, some people, I don't think money necessarily changes people. I think it exaggerates character, which we all know. But I do think money reveals more about people around you than it reveals about the person. Because the people that you thought were your day ones might start exhibiting new behaviors because they think you have money or whatever. And that also goes for dating, ironically. You know, if you're a young guy under 30 and you have a legit, successful or legit business, and this might not even be great advice, I'd actually suggest you guys don't even tell people what you do. Like when people ask me what I do, I'm just like, oh, I'm in sales. I just work in sales and marketing, right? I keep it vague. There's been girls that I've known since I was 17, 16, nearly 10 years later. Out of nowhere, they see my Instagram reel, they follow me, and they're like, hey, we should hang out. It's been so long. Bruh. Where were you 10 years ago, bro? Like I was 16, like when I was 16, you know? I don't say that in spite, by the way. I'm being honest. So yeah, you gotta be very careful about, I think, the people around you when you have something going on. And that doesn't even mean money, it can mean clout. If you're a famous guy, you got 1 million followers, same thing. One thing I think is that you can only really understand it once you get there. So I pray to God that all of you watching build a business bigger than mine if God wills it, become ultra successful, become mildly successful, or successful to which your pain tolerance can tolerate. But once you experience it, you get what I mean. Like, even family members might see it differently, etc. But they also don't understand the complexity of a business. You could have a business that's doing $1 million a year, but you might only be profiting like in your own personal account 70 grand because you're putting everything else into the company to go to the next level. Or you might be actually even in the negatives because you're trying to spend so much to keep growing aggressively. Right. The next thing is you need to be an expert of human nature. One thing I'm really proud that I did at 20 was I read so many books. Like I had the goal, as a lot of you know, I had the goal of reading 80 books in a year. I had 61 books. I think I've read less than probably 20 books in the last 2 years. I always start the year off reading a few. I read a few at the start of this year, but I haven't read as much. It's been a lot of action taking, learning on the fly, but a lot of things that I learned from my early 20s, late teens, when I was reading a lot, I'm now able to integrate. And that's been a benefit of investing into myself really young. So you guys need to, it's never too late, but if yesterday was the best, now is the second best. You gotta invest in the self-development, and you gotta be a master of people. You gotta really study the psychology of people, because the more you study the psychology of people, the more you understand yourself and your blind spots. And that relatability is what actually gets people to like you. They don't want to feel like they're just talking to a robot that spits out jargon. They want to feel like they are talking to someone that gets it and understands them, and understands the things that they might not say or articulate. Because again, that's where real influence lies. It's like if I can talk to your primal brain, if I can get you at a primal level, that's a lot different than me talking just about marketing jargon and stats.